Hello, everybody. A very warm welcome to all of you attending this particular webinar. My name is Vijay Mistry. I'm the CEO and founder of Rent a Director, and I'm super excited to be joined by Soin Shah, who's the executive director of Rent a Director, who's grounded back in Nairobi. So I'll just pass it over to Soin to say a few words. Soin, over to you.
Thank you, Vijay. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Karibuni to this webinar, which is going to be a game-changing webinar as we're going to be discussing what business owners and executives must do to weather the storm. And definitely we are in a perfect storm as this pandemic is reaching magnanimous and epic proportions, and thus we must prepare. Before we proceed to the webinar, we shall be sharing with you very valuable insights, and thus I must request you to avoid distractions, concentrate and focus, take notes, and we request you to post your queries and comments in the chat. We shall be reverting back to you in due course. Asante sana. Let's proceed, Vijay. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Soin. And as Soin mentioned, we are in the game of immersion. We would like to give you some of the best value nuggets, so do make a lot of notes. Now, here's the thing. Before I even begin this particular webinar, I just want to express my appreciation and say a very big thank you for all of you who are going to attend the leadership event which was going to take place at the Auditorium Oswald Center on the 14th of March 2020, which didn't take place. So a very special thank you to all of you, but a special thank you to all of our sponsors who were sponsoring this particular event, who were partnering with us. And I really commend the confidence, the trust that you had in us, the faith and the journey you were participating in, which was, this ethical leadership journey. And some of our sponsors were APSA Group, Safaricom, Helb, Rock Industries, Basco, Mugeni and Company, BTB Insurance Brokers, Maxis, which is Tire World, MP Shah Hospital, Ideas Unlimited, and Theodore Consultants. I mean, I can't thank you enough, because without you, this would have not been possible. We were expecting a turnout of about 200 to 250, and on behalf of Rent a Director, we really appreciate your support. So let's deep dive straight into today's webinar. This is about what business owners and executives must do to weather the storm. Now, whether you're a startup, small company, medium, or large organization, that does not matter. You will pick up certain insights which are gold nuggets. That's what I believe, as well as executives as well. So if you are a CFO, executive, if you are a director or any other position, a manager, you will find these insights to be highly valuable. So let's go straight, and I want to start by first of all sharing an outline with you. So we'll start off by just talking a little bit about us and why you should be even listening to us in the first place. So we'll just give you a little bit of a brief about us. We'll then go into the challenges businesses face. By the way, this is the wake-up call. This is the realization point, and it's very important to confront the brutal truth as to what's happening at ground level with this pandemic going on. We'll then move into converting challenges into opportunities. Now, my dear friends, if one door closes, we strongly believe the second, third, fourth, fifth door opens up. So we want to share with you certain opportunities which will help you, which will change your perception, which will make you see with a different lens altogether as to what these opportunities are. But that's not where we stop. We want to give you certain strategies to succeed and scale. We'll go slightly into the tactics as well, so that you can take home certain tools and techniques which can make a profound impact as you move forward. We then want to share with you an opportunity how you can work with us and how we can help you and your business. Even if you're an executive, we have something for you which can help you to scale up and move to the next level altogether. And you'll find this to be quite insightful. So we want to share this opportunity. And finally, as a thank you, we want to end up by giving you how to detect signals. Now, this is something which has not been shared. I haven't seen this sort of depth of anybody sharing on how you can identify signals and become a futuristic thinker. So we are going to share with you certain insights, certain tips, certain strategies, my experience as well, and help you to see how you can start developing this skill set altogether. One of the biggest challenges I have is normally this particular outline, it would take an estimated 3 hours if I was doing a seminar or a workshop. And if I was speaking in a conference, it would just be a small element of this. But what we have done is we have condensed this and we are doing our best to share all these gold nuggets within a span of about 60 minutes. And if we do spill over by about 5-10 minutes, my apologies in advance, but we want to give you the best of the best insights for you to take home. So here's something about us. Now, what makes us stand apart is the ability to identify forward-looking signals with ease. This is what we believe in, that's what makes us stand apart. And that changes the game for many organizations. We've helped hundreds of businesses grow up to 20-fold. We have quadrupled earnings before interest, depreciation, tax and amortization in only 3 years. Over 4 decades of collective executive experience, increased productivity through innovation and transformation by 120% in only 6 months, secured financial facilities of $35 million, world-class negotiation skills which led to reduction in interest on loans by $1.8 million annually. We've authored and developed 7 award-winning corporate training programs which have a Green Light Status Award from the UK Trade and Investment, cost reduction which has led to a 12% of drop in overheads and costs using Kaizen and lean management, increased revenue growth by compound annual growth rate of 38%. We have over 200 testimonials with up to 100% immediate impact testimonials which exhibit that impact. But at the same time, we also have a YouTube channel with over 120 videos. We've got articles published in professional journals. By the way, I'm an MBA in finance. I'm a fellow chartered certified accountant, FCMA, CGMA, as well as a CPA-K. And Soin is a fellow chartered certified accountant. In fact, he's even passed some world prizes when he was sitting for his papers, and he's a CPA-K. And I'm also a policy governance consultant, and there are only 300 worldwide. So let's go straight into the challenges businesses face, because this is the wake-up call. This is that realization point. The first and foremost is the slowdown, the struggle, the closures, the difficulties which companies are facing. Whether you're a small company, medium-sized company, or a large organization, or a startup, you at the moment, many of you are having this impact because of this void, because of this COVID-19, the problem that we are facing and what we are citing right now. That is one of the key problems which organizations globally are facing. In fact, not only in Kenya, but globally, which leads to the cash flows. I mean, you got overheads, you got running costs. Every now and again, there's a running cost. And to meet those running costs, you need the cash flows. And here's the problem, is that many are in survival mode. Others don't even know how to go about with their affairs because of the acute cash flow difficulties they are facing. I want to pass over to Soin to share some insight as regards employees. So, Soin, over to you.
Matters regarding employees, staff, our human resources are always sensitive in nature, and they should be handled in that way. A lot of business executives and business owners are facing challenges in this regard. What do they do in the current circumstances, and how do they avoid the various hazards that are being faced by not only the staff but themselves? Now, a lot of companies have resorted to a number of phase-wise approaches: sending staff on leave, organizing shift work. They are going to that extent of even sending staff on unpaid leave. Unfortunately, a number of companies we know were mulling over even redundancies. But we got a chance to talk to them, and they have now decided otherwise.
All right, thank you very much, Soin, for those insights which are so important. And as you can see, employees are one of the key components in organizations, yet there's so much of difficulty in figuring out how you're going to retain your employees. We then move into supply chain, and again, I would like Soin to share his version of the supply chain challenges which organizations face. Over to you, Soin.
In the current scenario, companies are facing completely disconnected supply chains. The admin departments are delinked. The process pipeline is disjointed. Now, to ensure products are procured, processed, and delivered to the market, this is proving to be a major challenge for companies, business owners, and executives in the current circumstances.
Excellent, Soin. As you can see, the supply chain, that's the back end, that's the trail end, that is the complete disconnect which many organizations face. And it's just making it very difficult. Not only the supply chain itself, but the entire stakeholder component of organizations. Which leads me to this one point, which is aftermath. One of the points which I'm trying to raise here is that all this culminates into business owners and executives being stressed, being isolated, having that psychological hurt, and not having a direction either. So it's very difficult, and it's a very dangerous place to be. And the final point is the most important, because this is what we believe when we are talking about thinking. It's what you think is what you become. That's the saying, as the saying goes. But here's the thing. You and I, we have about 60 to 70,000 thoughts a single day. And by the way, we do. And 90 to 95% of our thoughts spill over to the next day. Now, here's the thing. Your thoughts lead to the choices that you make. Your choices lead to your behavior. Your behavior creates the experience, and the experience produces the emotions and feelings. But here's the thing. Your feelings create the attitude, and the attitude used a number of times is going to create your habit, and all your habits is going to create your personality, and your personality is going to ride your destiny. My dear friends, the reason I'm sharing all this with you is that this is a loop which many are going through. It dominates in many people's minds. So this is such a powerful concept, and this loop alone is what people are really into. Just watch the news. If you watch the news every now and again, you're just going to be flooded with all the negativity, and your thinking is going to be just spinning over the same old thing that is going on. Now, I'm not saying you don't watch the news and don't confront reality. We all have to see what's been happening and what goes on, and we have to be alert and attentive at the end of the day. But here's the thing. This particular cycle seems to dominate 90 to 95% of many people's thinking. And this is a key challenge which many business owners, executives, managers, they face this. So we just wanted to share these particular challenges. But here's the thing. Let's move into how we can help you convert these challenges into opportunities. It's important to note that we should spend 20% of our time in looking into the challenges and 80% into the opportunities. So the first and foremost is your values. So here's the thing. Your values are anchored and they're hardwired in your system. So you must make sure that your values are there no matter what it is. So for example, if your values are integrity, ethics, if your values are clarity, discipline, execution, excellence, whatever your values are, your values will be hardwired and fully anchored. And your principles, those are the set of behaviors and habits that you have. So these are basically grounded. You must make sure that you take stock of your values and principles to begin with. The second important element is redefining your roadmap. What do I mean by redefining your roadmap? Your navigational path has changed for many. And here's an example. For many of you, you might have done certain forecasts, or you might have done certain variance analysis, or some of you might have planned in advance your goals and objectives. Say you might have done this January 2020, but everything has changed at this point. And these plans may not work out, which means now is the time. And by the way, urgency is the new currency. This is what I believe. You need to start rolling up your sleeves and start working on your roadmap from now. So it's very important to look into your roadmap and look into what are the alternates, what else is it that you can really do, and figure out how you can build your roadmap. By the way, when we are talking about detecting signals, you will pick up certain insights on how you can build upon your roadmap moving forward. Moving forward, needs and wants. This is again another important element. And I'll pass this over to Soin to explain the differences and why this is so critical when we are looking into opportunities. Over to you, Soin.
At this juncture, companies need to decide what are the needs and what are the wants. Having the basics is important, but definitely luxuries have to be out. They can be postponed, I'm sure. It is very key that we look at how do we live frugally in this current time, as that is the key to survival.
Excellent. Again, as Soin has mentioned, the segregation of needs and wants, and to live frugally. It's very important to make sure that this distinction is in place so that you can see that basic needs alone are enough for you to forge forward. Shifting presence. Now, my dear friends, this is where I would like you to listen to me very carefully. Whether you are a business owner, whether you are an executive, your presence has shifted, and you need to look into what your new presence is. And let me give you an example. As you know, I just mentioned that we were having this event on the 14th of March back in Nairobi, and our focus point was to see how we can help all those participants, and we were expecting about 200 to 250 participants for this particular event. And what happened? Within 18 hours, with that government directive, everything got disrupted. So what did we do? We started brainstorming and looking at other opportunities as to what we can do. Our platforms changed. As you can see, we are now doing webinars as well. I mean, even if you're back in Nairobi, Kenya, there's this social distancing as well, and it is encouraged to use these virtual facilities as well. So what is your presence? What is that new tilt which has come into your particular positioning? That is so important and so powerful, and you need to spend some time. I would press upon you to spend an hour or 2 hours to pick out exactly what your presence is. What meaning are you giving as you move forward? Because, by the way, everything has changed. Human behavior has changed. Your clients, your customer, everything has changed. Conveniences have changed. Focus points have changed. Priorities have changed. So what does this mean to you? And maybe your business may not have been affected. I don't know, you could be in FMCG, or you could be in a service industry or a manufacturing organization, or you could be in a financial institution. But here's the thing. Any impact to the stakeholders is going to have a direct or indirect impact to what you are doing and your model as well. So look into what you can really do to move your presence or shift your presence to the right trajectory and right direction. Moving forward, and again, this is another big one, and this is the mindset. You need to be resilient to begin with. And here's an example I can give you. Think of a koi fish. Put a koi fish in a fish bowl and it will grow 2 inches. Put the same koi fish in a river and it will grow to 1 foot. That's 12 inches. Now, why is that so? And the same happens to a shark. Put a shark in a fish tank and it will grow only 8 inches. And put the same shark in the ocean, deep ocean, and it will grow 8 feet. The reason is that you have to look into your environment. Just like the koi fish and the shark, your environment is similar to the ocean or the river. So here's my take to you. You need to stretch your capability. You need to stretch your thinking as well. You need to build your mental muscle. You need to progress and progress to excellence. So you have to keep on stepping up the game. And for that, what you really need to do is use your dominating thinking towards looking into being how you can be proactive rather than being reactive. And that starts with the mindset, the sharpness, the intelligence, building upon your strength, your resilience, so that you could face any road bumps moving forward. So I hope this really helps. Let's move into some strategies to help you succeed, because we want to now give you a little bit more strategy into it. Set of questions. My dear friends, now knowledge is getting the right answers. Intelligence is asking the right questions. So it's always about this intelligence that you need to look into. You need to sharpen your intelligence. You need to step up. And by stepping up, you have to ask the right questions. Now, for example, if you ask, why is this happening to me? You're not going to get any answers. But if you ask, what is it that I can do to specifically convert this challenge into opportunity? What are the alternates that I can look into and focus upon, which is going to drive more growth? Where can I utilize my resource alternatively to ensure that I have this sustainability in place? Asking those sort of questions is going to heighten your intelligence, and it will give you a deeper level of meaning of what you are doing, because all this is connected to the purpose and the meaning that you have of whatever you're doing. It could be your career or it could be your business. So this is very important. It's about the set of questions. And I promise you, this alone is going to change and shape your future in a complete different manner altogether. It is going to be positive and it will take you to another level altogether. The second important point which I want to share with you as far as strategies of success is concerned is assets. And I'll let Soin again share this particular element with all of you, so you can see the perspective of how it can help you. So over to you, Soin.
It is very interesting to note that we have walked into a number of companies where we have found assets which are lying around, unproductive, unutilized. Imagine how these assets can be put to so good use in these current circumstances. We have even found softwares which are complete white elephant softwares. These softwares can actually be used to create systems and processes so that we can curb the effects of the current times. A third most important aspect is a lot of companies are harboring multifaceted talent in the human resources that they are managing. These human resources can be challenged to put up nerve centers that will actually tackle the current scenarios that we are facing.
Fantastic. As you can see, I mean, white elephant. I know as well that many organizations, I enter any company and I know for a fact they are not using their software capabilities to its ultimatum. Whether it's SAP or whether it's Sage or whatever it is, whatever software you're using, they just don't use it to the maximum utility. Yet they pay big amounts and they pay millions for this particular software. So look into focus on your assets and look into how you can convert these assets into revenues. What else can you do to realize more revenue out of your assets? And again, Soin mentioned something about talent, which is so important. He mentioned about talent, and it's about your skill set. You need to sharpen your skill set, and you need to identify your raw talent. Look into what you're passionate about. Look into what you're good at. And I'll give you an example. There was an accountant up here, and she was sort of suspended from her job, and she started doing this sketches. She started doing sketches for people because she liked doing the sketches for the NHS, the hospital staff up here, and it's gone viral. It's completely different from an accounting profession. She's now doing these sketches for the hospital staff. My point here is you need to evolve and you need to skill, and if need be, you need to reskill. And by the way, again, I'm reiterating, urgency is the new currency. Do not wait for the pandemic to be over. Do not wait for another 2-3 months. Right now, for Soin and me and our team, we are extremely excited. This is the exciting time when we are brainstorming. We are coming up with proprietary intelligent frameworks as well. So what is it that you can do? How can you make an impact? How can you stretch up? What else can you do to move the needle? And what are your action drivers? What is it that you can really do? So your skills need to keep on evolving. Let's move to the next one, which is social platform. Now, you remember I said that 90 to 95% of your thoughts dominate the next day's thinking as well, in general. Now, here's the thing. There are many things you need to do, and I've seen executives keeping on doing what they keep on doing. It's always business as usual. There's not that stretch of thinking which takes place, and what this leads to is that you don't really look into the other opportunities out there. Now, let me give you an example when we are talking about social platform. We do a lot of coaching, and I was approached by this restaurant owner who was a chef. And he said, I'm going to be hard hit for the next 15 months or even more. And he said, I don't know what to do. And here's what I told him, is that here's what you really need to start working on is create a YouTube channel. Share your recipes on YouTube channel. And he's saying, but that market is saturated on YouTube. I said, this is the thing. This is what people start doubting their capability. Let me tell you, we have a population over 7 billion reaching to 8 billion very soon. And here's the thing. Each and every one of us has a unique way of interpretation, a unique meaning, and a unique way of doing what we do, our skill sets. So here's what I told him, is that if you have a doubt, you may not be successful. Have a strong belief. And here's another point I want to raise. Many of you may have walked on fire. You might have heard of people walking on fire. And I walked on fire twice. And here's the thing. There's no magic about walking on fire. Anybody can do it. In fact, all of you can do it so long as you do it according to the condition of your mind, your body, your feelings. I'm not asking you to go and walk on fire. But what I'm saying is that there's a way to strengthen your belief. And once you strengthen your belief, you'll be able to move mountains, as they say. Even if we look into the scriptures, the 3,000-year-old Tibetan scriptures or the Sanskrit scriptures as well, I mean, it's like your thoughts and feelings. If you can align them, you'll be able to move mountains, as they say. You can become a rainmaker. So my point here is, it's very important to look into what you can do. And for this particular restaurant owner, I said that you might not see results in the next 1 month or 2 months or 6 months, or it may even come. I'm not saying that it might not come. But here's the thing. What does that really mean? It means that if you are consistent, and many are not, there are many dabblers around. In fact, back in Nairobi, when I was there, I met some executives and business owners whose parents have given them the business, and they just dabble. They're looking for the next shiny object, and they're not really completely giving their laser sharp focus into their business model itself. So you don't need to really go into something and then start doubting, because that is going to completely ruin the game for you. So you have to be very careful to look at it from that particular perspective. let's move forward because I've got so many points to share, but I want to give you as much as I can, but we have ground to cover, and time is against us. The next point, which is very important, is automation. Now, even back a few years ago, I in my YouTube videos and everywhere, I'll say that the game has completely changed, and automation is going to dominate the better part of this particular decade. What does that really mean? I mean, look at 3D printing, or look at machine learning, or artificial intelligence, or augmented reality, or virtual reality, or big data. All these technological mechanisms are going to change the face you do business. What is it for you? What is it for your business? Whether you're an executive or whether you're a business person, how does this really impact you? And how can you use automation for cost effectiveness? What is it that you can really do to make a better, to add more traction? I mean, 3D printing, it's taking over most of business models globally in many industries. So how can you really capitalize and come up with what it is for your particular industry, for your particular sector, and how can you use automation for your particular benefit? Which leads me to the final one, which is a real powerful one in my opinion, and that is the convergence model. By the way, this decade, we are going to definitely see the convergence of certain automation as well. And it will blow your mind. I can spend a whole day explaining some of the practical examples out there, but it's going to have a complete new face of the way businesses are being run. So you need to look at convergence. And by the way, what do I really mean by convergence? It's about having a complete core element. Diversity is very important, and I'm looking at it from a different perspective altogether in organization contributing to strategy. But what if you could converge and have the complete model of integration, which is going to help you to scale up with non-linear? And by the way, when I'm going to talk about opportunity, I will be touching on convergence, and the model Rent Director has come up as regards convergence. So you'll get a better snapshot and idea. But I want you to see how you can make use and capitalize on this particular opportunity moving forward. So here's the thing. What we have shared so far is the tip of the iceberg. And by the way, I mean, like I said, that the biggest challenge is time, but I'm sure by now you must have picked up some gold nuggets. And if you have, please let us know on the chat box, because that inspires me to share more insights with you. Soin and I believe in giving you as much value as we can. So that is the whole idea. But we believe this is just the tip of the iceberg, and we would like to go 100 times deeper with you if you would like. And we have 3 powerful solutions. By the way, we even do workshops, and we do virtual workshops, and we've got other inquiries as well. But we want to focus on 3 powerful solutions which can be a game changer for you and your business, irrespective of the size or the complexity or the sector in which you are in. The first and foremost is 7 powerful coaching sessions. Now we've got one for the businesses, and we've got one for the entrepreneurs and executives. So we've got 2 different coaching programs, which are 7 powerful coaching sessions. The second one, which has really picked up a lot of interest, and we are getting a lot of inquiries, and we are already working with some organizations, is the 6-in-1 business health check. This is the complete end-to-end appraisal of an organization, which also includes taxation and other elements, but we'll come to that as we move forward. But this one is a complete game changer. Now, you might be having a CFO, you might be having a director, executive, manager, CEO, you might be having your core personnel with you, the executive team with you. But here's the thing. What if you had this whole convergence as one particular service? And this is what Rent Director provides. Now, by no means am I saying that you should fire your CFO or you should fire your manager, although small and medium organizations are actually looking into virtual CFO and virtual services. But here's what we are trying to say is that how can you maximize return on your executive time? So we push the envelope. We make sure that organizations who take up this particular service are completely scaled at a different level, and we bridge all the gaps. So this is one of our most powerful retainer programs, which is completely a no-brainer. And so the first coaching session, this 7 powerful coaching session, is exclusively for businesses who would like to identify and pick up the next level growth drivers. And here's just a framework of the sessions which we have in place. The first is a focused business roadmap, which is extremely powerful. This is about making sure that you got the right trajectory in place, you got the right roadmap in place. I mean, the thing is, when I go into organizations as well, the board of directors or the executives, if it's a family owned business, here's what I notice. The collective intentions are also not in place. And this is a key problem which many organizations have. Without that, you're not going to accelerate growth. That's what we believe in. So you'll get a focused business roadmap. We'll deep dive into your financials as well, because it's very important to find out exactly how to go about what are the components, what are the risk levels, what are the risk thresholds, the risk appetites as well, and work out a certain model, which is a growth-driven model based on your assets in your organization. The governance mechanisms, irrespective of the size and complexity of your organization, you must at all times have the right governance framework in place. And we will set this up for you, for your organization, so that you have a system-based blueprint approach distinguishing governance from the management of operational activities that you have. This is one of the reasons why organizations can weather the storm. Without the governance aspects, it's going to be very difficult. So that is another session we are going to build upon. Leadership. Now here's the thing. There are 2 elements which is going to help you scale up non-linear. One is leadership, the other is innovation. You definitely need your functional activities and the support mechanisms in place as well as the systems. But leadership and innovation are the 2 components which is going to help you scale up. And we are going to help you stretch your leadership capability. We are looking into how we can help you hand select and have that non-negotiable criteria as well at the top. Having the accountability in place, making sure that your expectations are fully met. So that is the leadership aspect which we are going to really work on and focus on as one of the sessions. We'll then go into the strategy, and we'll look into the strategy which works today, not which was working 3 months ago, but the strategy, the model which has changed completely for you and for your organization. So we are going to come up with a complete blueprint and try connecting it with the complete spot, which is a specific point of destination, the outcome itself of your particular organization. Strategy is very important. We'll also look into the innovative aspects of growth for your particular business. We'll then look into sales and marketing. By the way, if you have a marketing budget, think very deeply where you want to spend your money. It is unbelievable how I see many organizations having a marketing budget and they just misuse their funds. So be very careful. This is an element where you can have a huge saving if you look at marketing from a different aspect. In fact, Soin and I will be doing another webinar where we are going to focus more on the marketing aspect. And we'll also look into the sales, because what's happened is there are many organizations who don't have the right sales team in place as well. They don't even have the right skill sets in place as well. They don't even know the full product or service. So we have to look and make sure that you can leverage that particular element of growth for your organization. And finally, there's one particular session which is specific pain points. Now look, this is your session. You could come up with any aspect. It could be succession planning, it could be employees, it could be culture, it could be alignment, it could be anything within your organization which you want us to help you. In fact, we Rent a Director have got a list of almost 60 to 65 different pain points. And we are happy to share this with you if you decide to take one of these coaching programs. That will help you figure out exactly where you have to really concentrate, what are the focus points, what are the connections as well. So it's very powerful and very impactful. This is what I believe. These 7 sessions wrapped up is going to take you to another level. That's what we believe in. Secondly, this is a second 7 powerful coaching session. Now, if you are a director, or if you're a manager, or if you are a CFO, or if you are in operations, chief operating officer, or any of that particular position, or if you're an entrepreneur, this is something that can change the game for you, because we'll help you achieve those standards of excellence and help you step up the game. In fact, some of you executives may want to start your own entrepreneurial journey, or you want to just increase your earnings and have your position or title or step up the game, whatever you're doing. This is very powerful, and this will help you to take you to the next level. We'll start off with SPOD. Everything starts with beginning with the end in mind. This is the specific point of destination. No matter what you do, your specific point of destination must be completely well articulated, and it must be completely well in place. So it has to be condensed, it has to make sense, it has to be simplified, and it has to be clear. So that is very important. The second session is we are going to look into your asset element. So it doesn't matter whether you're an executive or an entrepreneur, your assets is where we focus on. This can even include your raw talent, what your preferences are, what your leverage drivers are, what your other assets are, because it's very important to make sure that we have a culmination of what you really have and how you can make use of your assets. The third one, which is very important, is about influence. Now look, leadership is all about influence. And in order for you to have the influence, you must ensure that you have the skill set of having that influential standing altogether. So we'll position you and will ensure that you have that influence and help you to move to a platform and a building block which is going to make you stand apart from any of the others in your particular field, which is extremely important. We'll then move into the next level. This is the next level, the next platform altogether, stretching your thinking, stretching your capability, making sure that you move to the next level and progress to excellence. This is a session which is going to culminate other sessions as well, so that we can work towards moving you to the next level. We'll then move into one session which is going to be on clarity. Expectations, clear expectations, having the blueprint, having the visibility. No point in having the SPOD or the outcome, but without having the cascading links in place. So we are going to work on the tactics, what you really need to do with complete clarity and visibility. So here's where the what if scenarios even come in play, but it's so powerful that it will completely help you calibrate and take you back into the positioning of your SPOD, which is very important and very powerful. We'll then go into one particular session. I know we mentioned assets, which is the resources, but we would like to increase your finances. So we would like to see how we can help you in whatever your financial desire and goal is. So we are going to have one particular session exclusively on financials. It's very important. So if you're an executive and if you are earning an X amount and if you want to step up the game, then we will look into strategies of what you really need to do, how you can move the ladder, what else you can do to make sure that you are well positioned. So that is very powerful. And a final session, which is on leadership, confidence. And by the way, when do you get your confidence? Is when you have the competence, and competence is knowledge, skills, and experience. So at the end of the day, we are going to work on those particular core components of ensuring you have the confidence to negotiate proper, confidence to communicate with clarity, confidence to have that influential impact as well. So it's going to drive more growth, and your presence will be felt as well wherever you are. So this is so powerful. I have seen executives, and this is the negative side, or rather this is the dark side, and I have seen executives who feel completely isolated. They feel their contribution are not taken into consideration, and many are so insecure with their particular position, which is not a very good place to be, because they don't know the moods of their bosses, and they're always worried whether they'll be in the job or not. And that's something which you need to throw out of the window. And we will give you all the tools, techniques, strategies of how you can move the needle for you as an executive and entrepreneur. Moving forward to the next one. Now, this is one particular health check which has really attracted many businesses. And this is a 6-in-1 business health check. And we'll look into your governance, strategy, finance, self-mastery, leadership, and sales and marketing. And also we'll look into the tax efficient elements as well, because your cash flows have to be in the proper flow as well. This is such an important one, especially now. Like I say, urgency is the default currency that we are in at this particular point in time. And you must add traction. And I press upon you, even if you don't use Rent-A-Director, I press upon you to look into having a business appraisal for your particular business. And it doesn't matter whether you are a very small company or a very large organization. You'll find this to be one of the most useful instruments at this particular point in time. You'll have a different perspective, a complete different mindset altogether, and you'll have a different, fresh thinking perspective from our experience and how we can help you and see what you can really do as regards the 6-in-1 business health check. At this particular point, I'll ask Soin to add a few words and take his perspective of what he has to say so far. Soin, over to you.
Thank you very much, Vijay. The 6-in-1 business health check is definitely one of its kind. It has been developed with a lot of thought to it. It's going to be very powerful and will add a lot of exponential value to your businesses. This is clearly the cutting edge next level for businesses. Now, I wish to add one more point in regard to the coaching sessions that we are delivering. As part and parcel of the coaching sessions, we are embedding succession planning as part of leadership development. As we all know, businesses do not have a clear-cut path for the development of leadership in their businesses. This, as you must know, for businesses in Kenya is very critical at this stage. Now, another important point is in regard to executive coaching. We will not only work towards increasing your earnings, but we will work towards enhancing your position and title to make sure that you are succeeding in the marketplace at every particular turn that you may make. Another aspect that you might want to consider is that a lot of executives are looking at the start of their executive entrepreneurial journey. Now, to avoid the pitfalls, we are also there to actually give them guidance so that they do not go through the same mistakes that everyone does. Over and above all this, I must impress upon you and tell you that we are very confident of the delivery of our services, and that's why we are giving you 100% money back guarantee on all our various services that we have talked about. This actually ensures that you, as a business owner and executive, have no risk at all. Thank you very much. Over to you, Vijay.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Soin. And that is very important. What Soin just mentioned is that we have 100% money back guarantee. Why do we do this? Because we are 100% confident of the competence that we have. And not only that, we want to build trust. This is a game of trust. We want you for the long run as well. And you need to see what we are capable of. I mean, this webinar alone, you can see how much we are trying to share and impart our knowledge as well. So this is what we want to do, is add traction This is what a rent a director is all about, is to help you have that sustainable model in place. So 100% money back guarantee. We also have 100% money back guarantee in our workshops, which is very unusual, but we do that because we believe in what we deliver, and we are 100% sure that you will add exponential value from any of the services that you take up. Now, here's where the rubber meets the road as well, and this is the next level, and this is the 6-in-1 retainer expert package. This is highly cost effective but highly leveraged. Now again, I reiterate, this doesn't mean that you need to fire your CFO or director or manager. What you need to do is make sure you can reinforce and ensure that they use their skills to their maximum capability. Change those disciplines, change those habits, make sure that they are not having that negligence mindset. And I'll give you one particular example as to why this is so powerful and so important. In one particular organization, there was this head of sales and marketing who joined the company. When he joined, he gave the best picture in the world. Like he was the best, he was like the messiah of that particular company's growth. It was at that level, and he came up with such a glossy presentation as to how he could drive sales and all that. And what happened is that 6 months, 9 months in his position, he wasn't performing as much as he had marketed himself. He would be, I would say, 50% productive in his role, because I knew immediately when I went, we picked up the signals and we knew exactly that this guy was not the right fit for that particular company. And here's my point. Weed out the draggers in your organization. I don't care whether it's an executive, whether it's a director, whether it's an operation manager, whatever it is. If they are not performing, either you shake them, and you can use our services as well, where we hold the senior, the middle management, and all the team members accountable. Because at the end of the day, it's about expectations, it's about discipline. And the reason why we do that, it's not that we are harsh or we are brutal, but what we do is we are trying to change habits. But please make sure, for heaven's sake, weed out draggers from your organization. In the 6-in-1 retainer expert package, you'll have the governance, you'll have the strategy, finance, self-mastery, which makes us stand apart, because we are looking into making sure that you yourself are enriched and you are aligned to the goals, everything that you want. Your values are aligned with the company's values as well. So it's very powerful and very important. Leadership, making an impact and making sure there is this excellence as far as leadership is concerned, and sales and marketing as well, looking at a different dimension as regards sales and marketing. Now, here's the thing, we don't stop there. We even give you the training and development, and we'll give you lifetime access not only to our corporate training programs, but we'll also give you certain tailor-made training for your team members to become more effective, which means that your training budget and everything is covered in our retainer as well, which is extremely which just goes to show the amount of value that you get. Just a small investment, but high leverage. And I tell you one thing, that if you can give the right training and development to your team members, impart that training and development, my dear friends, it's going to change the game completely for you. So we will give full access to the Business Excellence Blueprint. And these are 5 building blocks to growth. We'll also give you full access to the business fraud. By the way, I did a seminar for the YPO, WPO back in Kenya as well. And we prepared and we have now done this particular product, which is the business fraud, knowing exactly what some of the businesses face. So we've got the business fraud program as well. We got finance for directors and executives. As you know, finance is the lifeblood of all organizations. Cash is the oxygen of companies. So we've got the finance for directors, which is going to sharpen the intelligence and will help in the contribution and the choices that your team makes. We also have the progression to excellence, which has a personal development element as well. And by the way, you get access to all these programs, if you take our coaching programs as well, so you will get free access to all our programs. You get access to the Progression to Excellence, which is our flagship program. You also get access to the Power of Integration as well as the Governance Edge. So imagine the impact, imagine the value that we are adding to help your organization scale up. So that in a nutshell is the opportunity for you to consider. And now we are moving to the last part. I really apologize for taking so much of your time, but Soin and I, we are so passionate of giving as much insights as we can. And I just want to share this last part, which is detecting signals. Now, in a game of chess, an amateur will know his or her 1 or 2 or 3 moves. A professional will know their 4, 5, 6 moves. A master will know their 7 to 10 moves, but a grandmaster will know their 12 to 15th move. Just like the game of chess, you need to know your move from 1 to 15. That doesn't mean that you have to jump ship and make that 15th move now. You have to work out the trajectory properly. Now, what does that mean? That means you have to connect with the long term. You need to have the foresight to know exactly what's happening in the environment as well. And for that, here's an example I would like to share with you. And this is Caroline Islands. Now, there was this one particular area which was called Oceania, where 99.8% is covered by water. This is in the ocean. So 99.8% is covered by water, but there's this one particular place called Oceania where there were 3 islands. One was Micronesia, the other is Melanesia, and the third is Polynesia. Now, what happened here is that the inhabitants of this particular islands, they had the skill of navigating hundreds of miles through the waters and go to a destination as far as Hawaii and as far as North America as well, which is hundreds and hundreds of miles away and thousands of miles as well. And they had that skill set to go there without any navigational equipment or tools. They did not have any navigational tools. And what happened is the Westerners came in and they they came in with their navigational tools and everything, and this skills sort of died down. But in this area of Micronesia, there was one particular island which was called Caroline Islands, and the inhabitants of this particular island still had that particular skill set. And so the Westerners decided to go with these inhabitants in an outrigger canoe, which was like used in the Stone Age as well. And you can imagine how disconcerting it was for the Westerners to travel and not know where they would end up. So they traveled with these inhabitants who had the skills without any navigational equipment or tools. And here's what they observed, that what would happen is they would have a chief navigator. And by the way, it didn't really matter whether they traveled during daytime or during nighttime. It didn't really matter. There would be a chief navigator who would be looking straight ahead, and he would be looking up at the sky. I mean, during daytime, they would look at the shaft, the mast of their canoe, and see the angle of the shadow, and they would determine exactly where they are. And during nighttime, they would be observing the stars. And here's what they would be doing. They would have a reference point, like an island, a very small island, while they are traveling. So they would know exactly what measure of distance they have been traveling and how far they are. So they had those sort of small reference points. One of the men would also lie belly down on the canoe and then report back to the chief navigator. And this was a sort of, this is what the Westerners basically observed. And here's the thing, is that they would also cup the water and find out exactly what the phosphorescence level is as well. So they would know exactly whether they're approaching land or where they are. And they would also cup water and sort of touch it to their lips to find out the temperature, again, to sense where they are exactly. They had all these skills and this ability as well. And when they were approaching an island, then the chief navigator is more attentive, and he would then look at the wind, where the wind is flowing, where the birds are, because at that point the birds are flying around as well, looking for fish and food as well. So that is when they are more attentive. But they would have exact supplies to take them from one destination to another, without any navigational equipment. And here's what the Westerners discovered, that these inhabitants had 14 constellations. There were 14 constellations which gave 32 directions. You know, the stars, the arc itself, they had all that figured out, and they had 32 directions from these 14 constellations. And they were completely precise as to where they were. And they would know the weather pattern, they would know exactly what is going to happen. So they had that mindset. And it's just like, and here's the thing, that just like they could detect these signals going forward and going into the unknown, moving into the unknown. And you can imagine the first inhabitant who might have tried or attempted to travel. You can imagine how daunting it might have been. But here's the point, is that just like these inhabitants, you and I, we have the capability, the innate capability and the technology, as I put it, to actually attune ourselves to the environment and detect signals. You'll start picking signals as you move forward. And if you pay the right attention and have the focus and energy at the right spots, if you siphon your energy, the best way to drain your energy is to keep going through your WhatsApp and going through BBC News and, you know, your smartphones and all the phone calls and all the disturbances, which is so shallow at certain points. And yet we have this inner capability and inner alignment to correlate and to help us to move through a trajectory with better certainty and with a higher level of confidence. So my dear friends, I press upon you to consider this. And here's something that I want to share with you. And this is something that whenever I speak in my conferences and seminars and workshops, I normally ask that how many of you have thought of somebody and that person calls back immediately after? And I normally get 100% raising their hands. I'm sure even you could put in the chat box right now as well, that how many of you have experienced this. And I'm sure most of you have gone through this particular experience. And it's just like energy flows where attention goes. Energy flows where attention goes. Your focus point, your attention, your alignment, what you think is what is going to create your reality as well. So add that to your complete mechanism. But I want to share my experience. So back in Kenya, in one of the manufacturing organizations, I was a corporate coach and a non-executive director, and it was about 1:45 lunchtime. Just had my lunch, and I was in the boardroom with one of the executives, and we were just going through certain paperwork and all that. And all of a sudden, I get a flash that there is a lot of smoke, and the fire alarm's gone off, and there's a small fire as well. And I discussed this with this executive of mine, and I tell him, hey, look, I just got this flash, I don't know, and it's in this building, it's just happening. And he said, don't worry about anything, it's nothing, I mean, we are fine. And we carried on working. Lo and behold, 30 minutes later, and literally the fire alarm went off, and we were evacuated, we were told to evacuate the building. And there was a very small fire which was contained, a lot of smoke, but the fire got contained. I couldn't believe it, but my whole thinking and my beliefs and everything changed. Doesn't mean I've got any special powers. That's not what I'm trying to share this experience to you. But what I'm trying to say is, you and I, we have this technology within ourselves. And if we use it properly, it is going to change completely for you and me. It's just like you and I, we are the Prostean spider, where a slight vibration in our web and we are completely alert. That is all about detecting signals. And I want you to start picking the signals. So here's a tactic. I want to give you the tool behind how to go about with it. And here's what I would like you to do is every single day, take 10 minutes of your time. I just pledge that you take 10 minutes of your time. White space yourself. Don't have your phones or anything, no papers, nothing. Just white space yourself and connect with the environment, connect with the external conditions, connect with what is happening, connect with your vision, connect with your purpose. Keep on connecting and start hardwiring what it is. I promise you, 2 months, 3 months, 6 months down the line, you'll start detecting signals. You'll have more confidence as to the futuristic thinking mindset of what is going to happen. It is going to help you in your risk levels. It's going to help you in your revenue generation. It's going to help you in everything, in modeling and remodeling and redefining whatever your business is. This is magical if you use it. And I know highly successful businesses who apply this. So just 10 minutes of your time is going to sort of help you unleash that technology that you have, that mechanism that you have. It's starting to give you the pointers. It will give you the more, it will add to the traction. Not only that, it will help you in your decision making. It will help you make more effective decisions. That's what I believe. And I press upon you to consider investing just 10 minutes of your time. I mean, this in itself can be a game changer for you. So my dear friends, look, like I said, I wanted to share these insights, and I hope you picked up value from these particular insights. Before we wrap up, there's one last point which I would like to bring, which I want to ask Soin to share, and that is the challenge. Over to you, Soin.
Thank you very much, Vijay. The challenge, it's all about a lady called Susan who wanted to break the world record in long distance swimming. She wanted to cross the Adriatic Sea, and she wanted to break the record of 225 kilometers. How was she going to do this? Yes, she had a guidance boat with assistants who were guiding her. But how did they do this? They actually launched a drone which hovered at 50 feet, collecting vital information. Now, as Susan was swimming, there are many hurdles. This drone was collecting all these hurdles, be it whether there are shark-infested waters ahead, or boulders or islands in the path, or whether the weather pattern was changing. Now, with this vital information which was being relayed from this drone down to the guidance boat and over to Susan, Susan could actually chart her path correctly so that she would arrive at the specific point of destination, which Vijay has already talked about. Now, this is critical. This is what businesses actually need in today's day and age. We need that view not only from the 50 feet, but actually from the 50,000 feet, bird's view. And this is where actually we all know that strategy is crafted, and down where the strategy is then further implemented on the ground. Thank you very much.
Brilliant stuff. As Soin mentioned, it's about that 50 feet, 50,000 feet, the connectivity that we are looking at, having that periscopic view at all times. Just like swimming and, having that drone, it's similar to that. And you can have that ability to pick up these particular signals and move forward. So, my dear friends, of the 3 packages which we have. In summary, we have the 2 coaching programs which are extremely powerful. We got the 6-in-1 business health check, and finally we got the retainer package, which is extremely powerful. And you can get in touch with us. Our email is support@rentadirector.com. You can call Sohin. His number is 011-000-6888. Our website is www.rentadirector.com. And on this page, I believe it's going to be on the chat box, and you'll see a link where you can share certain details. We what we can do is you, me, and Soin, we can have a dialogue, a complimentary session, absolutely at no charge. But here's what we can help you with is to have a dialogue and see if there's any alignment, how we can help your organization. If you're interested, click this particular button and just fill some details in. We'll reach out within the next day or so, and we'll book an appointment accordingly. My dear friends, I cannot thank you enough for spending the time. You spent this 1 hour, you invested your time, and I really appreciate on behalf of Renter Director. Thank you very much, and stay safe. And I'll just pass over to Soin to say his final goodbyes as well. Thank you very much. Bye for now. Soin, over to you.
We appreciate the time you have taken out from your busy schedules to join us in this webinar. We hope that you have gained exponentially from the powerful insights we have shared in today's webinar. We shall be sending you the presentation to your emails. In the meantime, we hope and pray that you remain safe. Goodbye. God bless.